Discussion around public health, especially children's health, has been at the forefront of national politics for months. Now at the state capitol here in Michigan, lawmakers are considering whether to ban certain dyes and substances from foods in our schools. 13 on Your Side political reporter Josh Albertus joins us now with the details and what the author of that bill has to say. Josh.
Yeah, Julia, he said where kids and their food are concerned, he said this is not an area to mess around, and this legislation is a start.
We are setting up our kids to struggle. And what? For convenience? For cost?
But when it comes to reversing that, many feel that begins where the school bell rings. In Lansing, state lawmakers considering a bill that would ban certain additives and dyes from foods that schools are allowed to provide to students.
So if the taxpayers are going to be funding free school lunches, we should at the very least make sure that they are nutritious, and limiting these types of chemicals is a start.
Concerns over many additives have been well documented. In the case of brominated vegetable oil, which the U.S. Food and Drug Administration says is often used to stabilize fruit flavoring in drinks, the FDA last year revoked its authorization to use it in food, saying that there was, quote, no longer a reasonable certainty of no harm from the continued use of BVO in food.
Why not ban it for the whole state?
Well, you need to begin somewhere. I think that in education, with regard to food, education is the best place for this, is that we need to learn more about what we're eating, especially the habits that are built.
But as Michigan could consider taking action, lawmakers did have more questions.
Nearly half of our school meals are supplied through a third-party vendor. Wouldn't it make more sense to regulate third-party food vendors rather than schools themselves?
Well, this is modeled after California's law for the most part, and so that could be an approach. We want to find the most effective approach.
Another question, the cost of having schools make the shift.
I think our schools, again, since that's what we're looking at specifically, you said cost is up in the air. I understand that, but that's probably not a suitable ultimate final answer for our schools. They need to know kind of what the bottom line is. So I think, before we really move forward on this, I know I would need to see some type of a cost analysis.
And that hearing that you saw there was last week. So since then, they've been working on changes. Among other changes they're considering, we're told, as they hammer out the language in this bill, would be whether to shift the vetting to distributors mostly rather than schools. In the newsroom, Josh Albertus, 13 on Your Side.